Hey everyone, Garrett from Naked and Famous Denim here. Today we're going to be looking at a very cool mystery pair of faded jeans. So I thought it would be cool to review this pair and talk about, what other pairs of jeans you could wear that we currently have out, like the Ocean's Edge or perhaps the Left Hand Twill Sky Blue, and fade one of these to end up with a result something like this. So like I mentioned, I'm not quite sure which pair these are. We make so many jeans here, and we can't keep track of every last one. And unfortunately, the care label on this one has completely worn off. But I thought together we could take a look at them, and maybe you can help us identify which pair of jeans these are by looking at some of the different clues that we can find along the way. So before we get into it, do me a big favor, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so let's take a closer look at these. Let's see what type of clues we can uncover. Maybe you or someone else down in the comments will be able to tell us exactly what these are. And if these are your jeans, also let us know. So first of all, the first thing I noticed right here is the woven label on the inside here. And you can see that it's a wider one with sewing on just the sides. So this is telling me that this is not a super old pair. The very old pairs that we have are, they have a smaller label about this big, and it has sewing all the way around, and the text is, I'd say it's a lower resolution, almost kind of like pixelated looking. So right away, I can tell that this jean is not a super old one, but it could be a few years old, but not 15 years old. All right, moving on. The next clue, other than the fact that it's completely faded, is it says super skinny up here in the top. So before we had the super guy, they used to be called the super skinny guy. We ended up changing the name, but that gives you a little bit more information. So you know that this is from the super skinny guy era. Okay, moving down, we can see here we have the branded buttons. Again, some of the very first jeans did not have that text on there. It says Naked and Famous. And the buttonholes are pretty good condition. We have a little bit of fraying. Actually, yeah, this one is quite large. But other than that, all their other buttonholes are okay. And we have quite a low rise on this one, which, the super skinny guy did have a very low rise. Moving over here, we got some nice whiskering, very horizontal. So these were probably worn a little bit on the tighter side. You can see here really how the buttonhole has bunched up and pulled, showing that these were worn tight, that the button, was being pulled quite a bit. And that's what gives you these very straight, horizontal, and parallel whiskers. We got quite a bit of fading on the inside the pockets and on the coin pocket there. And we also see the red selvage ID, so that's another clue onto which pair these are, because they do have a red selvage. And pockets, definitely a little bit smaller, but you can see a lot of wear and tear around the pockets, and even the weft poking through on the corners here. Moving down in the pockets, it looks like he had maybe a wallet in this pocket and something else in this pocket. You can see a rip just starting to form right there at the bottom of the pocket bag. And moving down, we can see there's been pretty extensive repairs on the crotch. So that's, something that eventually happens if you do wear your jeans a lot. You're gonna have to fix the crotch. And then very interesting knee repair here on both sides. So we have kind of this box here, and then a smaller kind of a circular rectangle, if that makes any sense, and then a bunch of crisscross stitching going across on this faded knee, which is nice faded lap. And then over here we have another very cool repair, another rectangle, and then it looks kind of like they just went around and around and around until they got to the middle and did a bunch of zigzag stitching on the middle. So very interesting knee repairs here, and they matched this repair fabric nicely to the fade of the jeans. Moving down, you can see these are pretty long inseam, and they get a lot smaller, quite a bit of stacking fades. I would probably guess these are from the mid 2010s, just based on that, because back then, you know, stacking fades were a little more popular. And yeah, really nice stacking fades down here at the bottom, a little bit of yellowing on the inside as well. And let's flip up the cuff and see the inside here. So there's the selvage, not a whole lot of wear. It looks like these were worn uncuffed. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. You can see that at least for a short period of time, just based on that crease there, that these were cuffed for a little bit, but maybe not most of the time. All right, let's flip over to the back. So let's look for more clues here. We have the leather patch. So that's another clue of what type of jean this could be. This looks like one of our standard brown leather patches with a pass-through. The stitching on the top and bottom is fully intact, which is great. Often it becomes, you know, ripped or, you know, starts to come off a little bit on one of the sides. Wear on the bottom center point of the yoke on that seam there. A lot of puckering along the stitching here, which I do like. I love that puckered fade. And look, we can see even here, one of the whiskers has kind of come all the way around to the back. You can see that they were worn tight because of that. And looks like he was keeping something in his left pocket, or there's a lot more fading I noticed going on the, sorry, that would be the right butt cheek area. There's definitely a lot more fading on this side. You can see there's the color difference from the left to the right. So definitely something was rubbing on that right butt cheek, whether it be his hand or maybe getting in and out of a vehicle or car or something like that. Now, one thing I noticed on this jean, which was very interesting that you don't see very often, is a very cool fade pattern. If you look inside there very closely, you can see these kind of like dots going along the inside of the pocket, and you're going to see it even more distinctly on this side. And what that is because these were worn so tight, that back pocket was pulled snug, and the inside of the stitching, those little bumps were rubbing on the exact same spot on that fabric for years probably, and it caused these little dotted fade lines on the inside of the pocket, which I thought is a very cool thing, and it just shows you, you know, how even the smallest little details can fade the fabric. Moving down here, again, you can see it was very tight on the thighs. We got some, what would you call that? Thigh crotch whiskers coming out from the back of the crotch here, more here, and more repairs done to the crotch. And let's move down behind the knee, the combs, again, very tight, dense combs. This is a lighter weight fabric. I think I'd probably have to guess around 11 or 10 ounces. And because of that, you're getting smaller creases, tighter combs. Again, if you're worn tighter, you tend to see that the pattern is closer together and just tighter in general. Moving down, these are very interesting. I wonder what that is here. We got some more interesting kind of, it's not really a fade, it's more of a fold or a crease in the jeans, and you can see it on both sides here, just coming in from the out seam. And then down at the bottom, we see that stacking again, one quite defined fade right here where it's gone to pure white. And a little bit of rubbing and wear and tear right there. So if you have any guesses, put a comment down below what pair of jeans these are. If you remember the style name or the style number, please help us identify these jeans and leave your comment down below. And so I know this type of look is very popular. People, you know, they want to have a light pair of jeans for the summertime. So I want to talk about what jeans that you could possibly get to achieve that. First of all, we have the left hand twill sky blue edition. So it starts out light, but of course it will fade over time. I'd say this one started a little bit darker than the left hand twill sky blue, but you're kind of in that realm. So if you want something that's gonna be this light color and fade even lighter, you can go for something like this. Or if you want something that's gonna start a little bit darker and eventually fade to a very light blue like this, you could try something like the Ocean's Edge. Both of them are a great option, and you'll both get eventually to something more or less that's gonna look like this if you wear them enough. Anyways, I wanna thank you for sticking around to the very end. Thanks for going on this raw diamond adventure and helping me out to ID these jeans. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.